Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
We back.
We back.
Because I have to say that every week now.
You do have to say
I did this
say
part to say because you never know.
We're not here unless we're back. Deep.
Good luck with that, bruh.
Deep.
That was deep. That's what she said.
You beat me to it. I was about to say, oh man.
Oh man. All right, so
Not again.
I'm pretty excited about today's episode. As you can see, we're here in Studio Prime, right? So we're ready to kind of do our thing here in Studio Prime. I don't know where my notes are, but whatevs. Just struggle. That's cool.
The Strugle bus.
The Struggle bus.
Strugle bus.
Struggle bus.
Strugle.
Oh, I know where it is.
Oh,
This is not in the right place.
man. See, okay. Here in Studio Prime, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it's just funny to me how somebody's car, like somebody just keep bumping into it, or there's a child playing with keys and alarm systems.
If we don't point out the distractions,
They don't
the
exist.
listeners will ignore them.
It's only me. Like, y'all know that's one of, like, Kanae always talks about this. It's just one of my, it's one of my pet peeves. Like, if I hear any kind of sound, I'm like, what is that?
What are those? What are those noises?
That didn't last too long.
No, it didn't.
I mean, people still use it, but it didn't last that long at all.
So we got a nice little crawler at the bottom of the screen with our topics. Garrett, you're welcome.
Shout out to Garrett and his
Garrett, you did
standbys.
it. You did it exactly like how it was how it was described. I was just terrible at describing it. So now, like, you know,
Because I was just like, that's a ticker.
yeah,
That's the ticker.
crawler. I don't know. It just is what it is, and so, well, I mean, we're in a good space, so we're good.
We're in a really good space. I think we've gotten to a really cool setup. Initially, there's going to be all kinds of things back in this area that's going to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
We're just here, like, and I'm excited about it to finally get kind of our podcasting empire kicked off right.
Yeah, and it's good to be in the same space to even do that, right? And that's it's a whole nother look. And so as time goes on, you'll see this place evolve. You'll see me sit differently in my chair so we're the same height, and maybe even adjust the framing just a bit, because, like, I don't know, I just feel like we need to be even, and that's all.
And I don't know if it was my, like, let me stretch my back.
Yeah, but regardless, like,
but we'll get all this stuff together because we'll end up having, really cool setups. And I know we're talking about this stuff, but I just get excited about the evolution of things.
yeah,
And the fact that we get to actually use my podcaster and not be in 3 different places where my sound would end up being good, but because of the internet, everybody else coming in, their sound will be choppy.
Yeah.
Even though how I'm hearing it is not choppy.
yeah, and we'll be able to do some interviews, right? So,
Oh, yeah,
I've
for
been
sure,
thinking
for sure.
about doing interviews with some local folks and stuff like that. So that's gonna be fun. On top of that, I think I got to remember to look at the camera, not at the not at the screen while we're
Hey, guys.
while we're doing things. Otherwise, it's gonna be like
I think I have an advantage because I can, like, look there, but I'm also, like, if I look down a little bit, I'm still looking at them. Mm-hmm. Whereas at yours, you have to, like, kind of angle and adjust.
Yeah, and I also got to get used to that when I'm recording music advice videos, right? I'm usually looking at both cameras, and I have a 2-camera setup for that. So as time goes
Fancy.
yeah, as time goes on, I would like, to have the listeners, everybody that's listening right now, to give us some grace and things of that nature, in order for us to kind of do things the way that we need to. And then, yeah, as you contribute, as you listen, as you do the things that you do as listeners, right, and support us, we'll be on the right track to grow. And so, yeah, let's just...
Y'all gotta start watching these premieres with us. I think we're gonna try and make it a thing to make sure that we're in attendance.
Yeah.
For the premiere, so that way, if you want to come chat with us as we like rewatch an episode or something that we've recorded, we'll try and be there. We'll set something up to where there's an incentive for our community to continue growing. It's gonna be some fun stuff. Eventually, there'll be giveaways, all kinds of things, just because that's who we are.
Yeah.
That's who we are.
Yeah. And so the hope is that later on we'll talk about the Patreon and how you can support there. And we got some new members that are Patreons. So shout out to y'all. Thank you for listening on a regular basis, and thank you for helping. Let's go ahead and talk these topics. So
let's dive in.
First up,
actually, I can read it.
We got Nicki Minaj, and I got it pulled up. So Nicki Minaj recently put out a tweet about vaccines and things of that nature. I need to stop leaning on this table. I don't like shaky cam, but
see, now it's you this week, because it's not me. Exactly. Last week it was me and Mike and
yeah, had the whole thing beatboxing every time. Sorry if you're a listener and that disturbed you. I apologize. Anyway, so Nicki Minaj put out a tweet about the vaccine, and she was saying, my cousin in Trinidad won't get the vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. Too much information. Anyway, his friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding, so just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied. So I can see the what she's trying to do here, right? She's trying to get people to make their own choices around the vaccine. But I can also see where her power and influence can convince people that the vaccine has side effects that will harm people that are very common, right? So this makes it feel to the reader that these side effects will be common, and or it makes it seem that this is actually happening, right? The two are correlated, and there's no data to say
like
that's
all of what she got was a text,
right?
I'm pretty sure she didn't get a picture, like of said swollen testicles. But she didn't get any of that.
Yeah.
And so I think the biggest issue is so there's a side effect that they haven't tested for that hasn't popped up in any other case.
Yeah.
That not even he apparently reported to anybody. And it's in Trinidad, so I don't know if that's like if there's a form of the vaccine, is there a specific one that he took? Do you even know what he took?
Right.
So that kind of the age of information, we've just reached a place where people don't want to get actual information.
Yeah, and that's the
or
hard
research,
part.
So to speak.
Yeah, that's the hard part with this vaccine, right? Like I 100% give everybody the grace to, and this nobody needs my permission, right? By the way, but I'm just saying that, like,
good luck with that, bruh.
I'm just saying that, like, with the vaccine, it's very logical, or anything that you're putting in your body, to be concerned or wary or want to take every precaution that you can. But I should not say but. I thought about this morning while I was kind of waking up. I was like, instead of but, maybe I should say and. So
perhaps.
And we should be mindful that we have cured or at least eradicated a lot of human diseases and viruses and things of that nature through vaccination. And so there have been terrible things. Yeah, terrible things that have happened in history, but there also have been very positive things that have happened in history that are factual and accurate about vaccines, and we have to be critical thinking human beings around this topic.
The thing that's funny to me, and we were talking about this, is you're literally born. They give you a number. You pay taxes. You eat everything processed in the world from whatever store you go to. But all of a sudden, they're trying to take you out with a vaccine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think in other conversations, this is that type of sentiment has come up. Is like people will eat McDonald's, but be afraid of a government vaccine. So all of a sudden, McDonald's is not a conspiracy too.
You know, and it's not to say that conspiracy theories there aren't some that are true. Because if you 100% believe in the government every time they speak to you, I'm not gonna call you a fool, but I'm just gonna say you I don't know what's going on with you.
It's okay to be skeptical.
Yeah.
Right.
But be skeptical through what you learn in school, scientific hypothesis.
See, that's the assumption, though. The assumption is that we're learning science in school and actually understand what that means.
Oh, no. Here's what I mean. When they teach us the scientific hypothesis, it basically teaches you to just test things out.
Yeah, so scientific method.
Excuse me. Sorry. Look at me. I've been too far away from school.
so the hypothesis is a part of that method, right?
Yeah.
Where you ask a question and you make a prediction based off of that question that's asked, right? So
right.
I assume my hypothesis is that X amount of percent of people will have side effects from this vaccine, right? That's a hypothesis. And then you'll go out and you will control for variables, right? Have people that don't take the vaccine, and then you'll have people that do take the vaccine, and you have to control all of their environments as much as you possibly can, and then compare the two groups.
There are so many states where there's a 50% or more or less vaccination rate, which would mean there are millions of people at this point who have taken the vaccine. In those millions of people, it has not randomly been reported that balls are swollen and people are becoming impotent. Because here would be the biggest sample of people being able to see how the vaccine is actually affecting people. Because we know that there are places in the world where they cannot get the vaccine. Yeah. Because it's not as readily available as it is in America. So I really want for people to research. Just do research. And I don't mean find the one video on YouTube that corroborates what it is that you think. Find one that goes against what you think. And see what information are they providing. Are they just saying that, you know, if you take the vaccine, you're in the Illuminati?
Right.
Kind of thing. Or are they saying like, well, hey, with this amount of information, with this many cases, with this many this and that I've done research with this, you can go and check this research out. You can go and see this information existing in real life that is unbiased. This was not something that I just did by myself because I wanted something that showed facts versus my opinions. Then you can reach a better conclusion in terms of like all these theories and things that we are currently going with. Because I have a lot of issues with just the way we're handling all of this.
Yeah.
You know, Kanae and I were having a conversation last night, and I'll be curious to kind of ask you this as well about dealing with COVID and trying to have kids.
Yeah.
Because what I don't want, and I said this very plainly, I'm not finna be in a situation where we're about to give labor. something happens, something kind of goes wrong, and for whatever reason, Kanae needs to be in the ICU. Mm-hmm. She can't make it to the ICU because it's full of people who will not get vaccinated.
Yeah, and that's
valid. More accurately, full of people that just have COVID.
Yeah,
because it doesn't necessarily mean that they're vaccinated or not vaccinated. See that clarification and not just leaning completely on unvaccinated people, because vaccinated people can get COVID as well.
Yeah,
but you're in a situation where there are people, TJ, there are people that have died. You can look it up. I ain't got to do all this, that have died because they've gone to an ICU. They could not get in. They had to transfer to another state or transfer to another place. Couldn't get in there. And in transit have passed because they're not able to get the immediate help where they should relative to their area.
Yeah. And that's a valid concern, right? And my perspective on it is we can be precautious, but we also need to be mindful of the reality, right? People, hospitals do buffer for these situations. They know how many, kind of births to estimate, and then they have available space if necessary. So, I think between myself and my wife, we believe that we shouldn't stop trying.
Same.
In this time, and what we. Yeah, so we just basically believe that things are going to work out how they work out.
Yeah, because regardless of anything, you still have 7 to 9 months worth of more research, data, things happening with people to kind of work a lot of the things out.
Yeah.
Because I remember how frustrating it was to deal with the initial rush, because we were still in the middle of trying at that point then. But I was like, so you mean to tell me my friends or my family members can't be at this hospital with me?
Yeah.
Like, or if I need to leave, I can't?
Yeah.
Because if I leave, I'm now, endangering somebody else, and now my wife is giving birth by herself.
Yeah.
Because I can't come back into the hospital from giving her food and stuff. So it's the reason this tweet, to kind of wrap this all up, is so integral to what it is we need to be doing as people, right? Is we have to be informed, because you just gave my cousin's friend's sister said with no evidence.
Telephone game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, as you said, I forgot that. It was just we don't need to be telephone gaining information.
Right.
Especially when the amount of unvaccinated, in terms of what we don't want is for continual variants to outpace a vaccine.
Right.
Because then, y'all will be right. The vaccine will be pointless. But then you'll get something that you really don't want, which is something that we don't want to increase the death rate.
Yeah. Well, I think we can already argue that that's currently what's happening, right? So
with the boosters and stuff, I think
variants are popping up, and there's not enough people vaccinated to have that herd immunity. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. I think we've kind of milked this one enough.
I see what you did there.
I don't know what I did there, but whatever it was weird. But next topic is Lupe Fiasco.
Wazaloo Jacko
did a nice little freestyle over Champagne. What's the name of it?
Champagne Poetry.
Champagne. I knew you would know.
I did.
I'm not interested in that album.
Man,
but
the Drake shot that you do.
He was like, I'm not shooting at my dude.
Yeah.
We're the same age, right? So about the same.
I think so.
Age,
I think
right?
he's either older than us by a year, I think.
Yeah. So, I'm not shooting. Well, not that age matters in this point. I keep making these weird points. Like, not that age. We're the same age. So I can't.
But we've gotten to that age. As funny as that is, we are at the age where everything is determined by the fact that we can see what life used to be.
Yeah.
Because Kanae was talking about this the other day she was like, this kid was born in 2006.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
what that means. Like, you know how many kids we meet that don't know what airports used to be?
Right. They don't.
That have not seen Terminal with Tom Hanks. It's an amazing movie. You guys should watch it.
I asked my kids yesterday because I teach middle school, if folks don't know, and I asked the students, have you ever seen Hidden Figures? Because we're talking about like when humans used to be computers.
Yeah.
And like 3 hands came up every single class period. So, and I was just like, that was 2016. They were like, what? I thought
Wait.
that was just some old movie that you seen.
was
that we
2016?
haven't seen. Yeah, that came out in 2016.
Wow. Okay. That's way longer than I thought.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
See, again, but we skewing all off. But this shows like when you reach your 30s, it is the first time where you're able to kind of look back, look at the 3 decades
Right.
that you've been alive, and start to see the matriculation, the transgression of all of these different things, whether it's a movie or whatever. Like, you know, I think Terminal might have been 2000. No, it would have been 90 something because the airport was still
Yeah, it was
open.
after 9/11.
No, it was before. Terminal was before because it still had like all of the shopping area-esque things involved, and they were what am I trying to say? Stereotyping in terms of how to get people on board or off board. Or there are 7 people here with no way that they should, you know, like all be dressed like this with only one carry-on bag. Y'all carrying drugs. So that's how the importing process was more how I kind of knew that it had to have been before. I'll check the date on it at some point or put it somewhere. But it's really
Anyway,
we digress.
we're all over the place for no
Good
reason.
luck with that, bruh.
So let's get back to Lupe, right? So he put out a freestyle over the champagne poetry, and it's called diet soda poetry. If you don't know much about Lupe, he's been on a diet soda kick recently, so that's kind of where he was. And so I'm just curious about your thoughts on it. Maybe we can spend about like maybe 5 minutes of topic so we can get to overtime and go from there.
Fuego. This period. Like Lupe he exerts this level of artistry that is just astonishing. The amount of or the ability that he has, excuse me, I don't mean to leave dead space in this, but as I'm thinking about it, but just the ability that he has to orchestrate a story, to make things plain while also making things so far away from you in terms of what it is you have to do to kind of understand and unravel the bars.
Yeah.
He's a master at it. I think it's what we attribute to Andre 3000, Black Thought, Royce, even Tyler the Creator in a lot of different ways. There's this level of how do you think that? Like, how do you put these thoughts together? You do it a lot as
He's
well.
observant.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I observed. And with like, all right, so number one, we're not going to play it only because, right, we get
trying to get pulled.
We get taken down from YouTube. So we'll play it in overtime and then discuss it. But, and that's encouragement for you to go check out overtime on our Patreon and become a member there. But we can kind of take a look at the lyrics, you know, treat this like, I just want to treat this like radio because it's hard for us to give you a picture of what we're talking about without, you know, kind of saying it. So, you know, the verse 1, right? On the phone, speaking in code, sneaky ninjas want a piece of your soul. It's like the conversation changed when I'm speaking in goals, and they don't understand when I speak the Creole. Like, it's just
they don't understand when he like it's so like okay, so even understanding just the part of that. So talking about speaking in code. So I'm speaking differently so people don't understand what I'm saying. Sneaky people want peace or whatever, but it's like they don't understand when I'm speaking about success, and they don't understand, like, to further explain how they don't understand, you also don't understand people that speak in Creole.
Right.
In a certain way. If you don't speak it, you don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds like the water boy coach.
Yeah.
For most people in terms of like in terms of like how they think about it. But that's
ball.
But that's what they think about.
Yeah.
So, but that's chock full of everything in terms of, I don't know. It's just beautiful artistry. I love the way that he writes doesn't write.
Let's go through the next 4 bars, right? So like, being C-suite don't mean you think that they hoes. Being C-suite mean the seat that you chose. It's elite. You ain't got to speak because it shows. My skill set freakier than Bohemian Grove. Mm-hmm. That's dope. Baby blood only calls the mama brim. Ahead of my time, used to talk to my mama's friends.
Mm-hmm. Which is a funny, like, oh, that's the next part line is
condolences to the
Tony
Bakers.
Baker.
Yeah, tragedy bring us back together right after it break us.
Mm-hmm. Casualty will always make us neighbors.
Yeah,
Jordan made me a Bull, but Kobe made me a Laker.
Nice.
You know, and it's like, oh, these scratch pads, know they crying in Jamaica. That boy stay blessed like the wine with the wafer.
Mm-hmm.
Live by my grind like the shaker. You know,
like a salt shaker.
Mind my behavior.
Pepper grinder, right? Like,
I parked the car for the valet, set the table for the waiters. Totally self-sufficient with a whole lot of favors.
that was pretty sick.
He's. Then we're at what? Blue Note table watching jazz on the xylophone.
We can keep it at the first verse. My bad. Oh, because we'll be here all day, kind of analyzing.
We would have been.
Should say
this would have been like overtime, like breaking down the bars. But
we'll save some for overtime.
In that first verse, like, it's just mastery. It's a mastery when you're able to layer your entendres with simple, easy to catch things.
Yeah.
There's a skill and an art to that a lot of artists today don't necessarily have, because, and it's not to like, and that's not even taking a shot. That's more saying, so like with the newer artists, it's more about being direct, and because they're saying something direct, it's easier to pick up.
Yeah.
So I'm saying something that's just like, man, all my friends are unloyal to me.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I understand that. I have unloyal friends, which, as I said last week, is not a good thing.
But the thing is, when you're writing, you gotta pull at people's emotional heartstrings. And
True.
Sometimes being lyrical doesn't pull at people's emotional heartstrings. Like, being lyrical is more for thinking type people.
True,
right?
that. Because that's my emotion.
Feeling.
My emotion is in my thoughts,
right,
in that way, and is in my logic, in the sense that how do the things that I'm feeling or the things that I'm thinking piece together. You would talk about this a lot in terms of like the construct, like what are you doing around yourself?
Right.
Like what is your environment saying? And that is a thought. We just know how to articulate that in rap.
But that's good storytelling, right? And so,
agreed.
We bring this up mostly because, and this is our next topic, how Tyler the Creator has stated in a tweet that he's basically like, man, we got to protect Lupe, or we should have protected Lupe. His exact tweet was, we didn't protect Lupe, man. And that's telling. Mm-hmm. That's really powerful, because in a lot of ways, hip hop culture, it's true.
Oh, it's factual. I mean, we go to a situation where he has two classic albums back to back. Essentially, one executive produced by the greatest rapper for most people of all time in Jay-Z. The second album, just a classic in and of itself in terms of the grounds that he broke and the topics that he chose to address. Third album, he states some things. He tries some different things. Like Atlantic at that point starts to make him feel kind of trapped to a means.
Yeah.
So for the next, I think it was lasers. Then I think it was Food and Liquor 2.
And then the Obama comment, right?
Which was on lasers.
Right. So but I think more than that, right? We're kind of talking about the business that didn't protect him, but the fans didn't protect either.
They didn't protect. I mean, and they ended up in a situation where they, with lasers.
Well, I take it back. Not Lupe fans, right? So, because there's a clear distinction between the two. Lupe fans stood behind Lupe so much so that it helped fuel his last label release. Right, the last one on Atlantic, and Lupe fans are still there, making Lupe comfortable. So Lupe did respond to this, and I'll pull up the tweets here in just a second. But
the culture,
right,
essentially did not.
Right, the culture of hip hop didn't support Lupe and doesn't always support lyrical artists, right? And that's kind of concerning for me. But and I think Tyler, the creator, is stating this, right? We didn't do it. We didn't do it right as a culture.
No, we didn't even try. It's hard in these situations because the people who are pro thought. Because Lupe does a lot of research. Every live he does, he says, coronavirus is a real thing. Get vaxxed. Still wear your mask. Everything that he does. He'll even go and talk with people about why you're unvaxxed.
Right.
Like, what's the thought process behind that? What does that gain you? What does that garner you? How does that end you up in a good situation?
And oftentimes he doesn't change people's minds either, right? So
no.
It's this thing where, I mean, right? If you push to change somebody's perspective, more than likely they'll push back on an equal level, and you won't get anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's not what he does. So Lupe's response to Tyler was, I'm still here, fam. LOL. I'm happy. Right. So that's just saying, like, I still got fans. I still got people. I still got support. And my life, it seems like Lupe's life is way better than it was when he was on the label. So
yeah,
granted, he said family good. Life is awesome. Make my little money doing shows to fund my little side hustles. Join the Illuminati. That's nice. Pornography is better than it's ever been. Yeah. And Chill Case is looking promising. Chill is his business partner. And then lawsuits settled. And this last one I'm not going to read because I'm not worried about that. Solid. Yeah. Sorry to misquote Lupe, but I'm not reading that part.
Understood.
So, is that it for that?
And he hit 700,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Nice. You share all your thoughts?
Yeah, like he's my favorite for a reason.
Yeah.
If Lupe had dropped and Drake had dropped on my ride up here, Drake would have been the last thing I listened to.
That makes sense.
Unless Lupe was too heavy for me.
He says his next album is like Illmatic. And it's ready. It just needs to be polished. So
I'm ready.
Right. Look what I did to the crawler. Improvements in the same damn show. So this last one we're gonna talk about 21 Savage. We're actually gonna play a clip.
And this one ain't gonna be nothing but really quick and a promotion for some things that will help you do the same. Yeah,
so 21 Savage spoke to I can't remember who this was. He did an interview.
Gilly and I can't think of who the dude is, but
yeah. So he recently did an interview. He was with some other folks, and he spoke about owning his own masters. And as independent artists, we kind of appreciate this. Not even kind of, like really appreciate this. And yeah, let's just listen to what he says.
Just the question. Young Nudie, you doing your thing. Savage, you doing your thing. You take it back. 2006, just take it back. Would you would have signed or you would have stayed independent?
I signed late though. I ain't signed early. He signed late too. You already had like plaques and shit. Like I had a platinum album before I signed my deal. See what I'm saying? So
you had a platinum album, independent. You owned your shit, publishing and everything.
Yes, I own my masters.
Okay.
I own my masters right now. Every song you ever heard.
Go hard, everything.
I own it.
A lot.
My split, I got a 70-30 split with my label. I get 70, they get 30. I own all my masters. So my deal ain't no deal where it's like, damn, I wish I was independent. See what I'm saying? I make money. I make more money off my album sales than I do off touring.
Man, listen, bro.
Man,
it's crazy to me. Like it's just. You just gotta applaud that because it like that is freaking amazing.
Yeah, and I talk about it a lot on Music Advice. Where
I see you, you beat me to my promo.
On the same page, I see. This is why we brothers. Anyway, so I talk about this a lot on Music Advice, right? Independent artists need to own their masters. They need to understand their publishing, things of that nature, and they should also just kind of know what the business is like. And I also talk about streaming rates and royalties and things of that nature, what people are paid for how many streams. And he just said it. I get more from my streams than I do my shows, and that's the exact opposite of how the business has operated for decades. It's crazy.
But here's the thing. That was something that he built. As
Right.
he said, he also walked into a place of leverage. Artists, you have leverage. Mm-hmm. You are the unique thing that the labels need. You are the thing that they are chasing, searching for, want near them. They want to add you to their repertoire. They want you to be a part of the roster because it fuels the machine.
Right.
You need to control that because you have more ways to control it than you have ever had. And it's imperative that you continue to build up your catalog.
Yeah.
Because that is what gives you generational wealth. Because the thing that he also said, he had a platinum album before he signed the deal. Platinum album at that time would have still meant, I guess it would have been streams for 21 at that point in time. Mm-hmm. Not as many streams as what is today because I don't know all of what it was available around that time. I'll have to double check that. But he was in a cycle to where before he signed,
right,
he was getting checks. Probably every, we talk about this like it's the platinum, biggest thing is getting those things in a way that it can set up payments for you.
Right. Long term.
Yeah.
Like continuous, not necessarily passive income because I don't really believe in that term, but it is residual income that flows over and over again as long as you have the music out and it's being consumed. And so, applause again for 21 Savage. As soon as we get back, we should just load the applause into our set.
That'll be my next little move.
But shout out to him. 21 Savage.
Shout out to those of you who are inspired by things like this and want to go to the Music Advice channel by Workplace DJ to learn how to do these things yourself.
Yeah, and that's the channel that this show comes out on anyway. Mm-hmm. So be sure to check it out.
Yeah.
I feel like that's been a good show.
I feel like that's good. So you know where to find us.
Yep. If you want to go ahead and get into overtime and check that out, be sure that you become a patron of our work and everything that we do. Patreon.com/wordplaytj. All the links for us is in the bio and everything like that. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this show, make sure that you share it with somebody else, and also be sure to subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, every other podcast streaming
platform, Amazon Music, Google Music, and
Spotify.
And be sure to hit the bell so that way you get notified whenever we go live, whenever episodes go live and things of that nature, so that way you don't miss out and have FOMO.
Word.
But we will catch you guys next week, and we'll catch the Patreons over at Overtime. So a 1 and a 2 and a peace.